project is called Cell Defense, and I'm James Weinhold.
I'm Jack Burk.
Ryan.
And pretty much to sum up our project, it's a tower defense style game that is going to show how the cells in our body defend against pathogens. So to start it off, just like I said, it's going to be a tower defense style. And what is tower defense? For anybody who doesn't know, this is just a sample of a tower defense game. It's a strategic game where the goal is to stop the enemies from reaching a point on the map by building a variety of different towers which shoots at them as they pass, and you can upgrade them and whatnot. So simply, they go down the map, they go through the lines, and these are your defense, which would be like T cells, B cells, and our body, which would stop pathogens, which would be the enemies going through our body. And the purpose is to show how the body fights off pathogens, and it's simple to understand because it's going to be done in a video game, and it's just a game, you play through it, and then it will have context of biology through it, as it's going to have the real cells that protect our body and real pathogens that go through. And we'll be using GameMaker because it has a built-in programming language called GML, and it does all the compiling by itself, so you don't have to have another compiler or use a complex language like C++, AutoScript, C#. None of that. It does it all for you, so it's just one big program that codes the game, so it's not too complicated, but with creativity, you can make it pretty, nice game. And no real company, the only other company I can think of is the Ninja Kiwi. They're super famous for their balloon tower defense game franchise. It's a huge success and popularity, but overall, we would probably want to keep it between ourselves since it's our game, so the company would just stay between us, and we would build the project up from the ground. Unless, for example, Ninja Kiwi was interested in it, then that would be a good idea. And this is all we have so far. It's very basic. This is the GameMaker program, and this is the map, for example, and this is a dot for an enemy. And this is pretty much what we have so far, but this is how it would look. Obviously, this would be more updated to look more like a pathogen, and then there would be towers around it, and the map would look like the body itself. But this is pretty much how this is how the game maker looks itself. And then you can see it has the sprites, sounds, backgrounds, everything inside of it. It's not as complicated as normal code, and you put the codes inside each folder, and it does it like that. And yep, that's it for me.
So, as far as the graphics gameplay for it go, we want to make it interesting, and because cells have very specific functions and such, we would keep it fun and engaging with that. So the infections and such could be very varied with how they work or how strong they are, could make it a little different. And we could have different host environments to make the cell towers different in terms of a bad or negative healthy habit the person might have. So the cell specialization could be anything like the helper T cells, which man and such, the natural killer cells, which are fast response time to things, and other varied cells like that, because they all have very interesting and unique functions of the immune system. And for the graphics, we would keep them all fun and engaging, and players would likely learn a lot of different cells just playing the game, knowing what they do and how they look, which would be an interesting way for them to learn biology without suffering through classes or such they may find boring. So from that, it would be an interesting way to learn biology in a fun game.
So how cell defense relates to biology? It would basically be able to see, as we mentioned before, different types of parts of the immune system that help fight against diseases in terms of the game. So you'd be able to get a basic understanding of how they all work, and maybe what they look like, how different ways they attack cells. So some are more broad and are able to handle more types of pathogens at once. So we might reflect that in the gameplay, whereas others are more specific, such as macrophages or killer T cells. So yeah, as I mentioned here, you can you basically just be able to see the different types of effects, and you would understand. You wouldn't get the exact concepts behind it, but you'd be able to understand the broad sense of the term. Are these immune system functions able to kill many pathogens and just protect my body in general, or is this a more specific type? finds this type of pathogen, such as a parasite or a specific virus, and then it kills that cell specifically. Also, we can include additional effects that would demonstrate the innate immune system, such as how your skin defends against pathogens, or your mucus helps defend it. So there might be an option to like upgrade your skin or mucus, and that would stop pathogens, a certain amount of pathogens from entering. So that'd be another way to relate the gameplay back to biology.
And those are citations.
So we have questions.
Alright.
Questions, guys?
Is the primary game going to be inside of the body, such as the bloodstream, or is there going to be multiple levels, such as you said, in the mucus and like the nose or on the skin?
I'd say multiple levels. It will go throughout the body, and if it gets past a certain point, which would be getting harder into the game, it would go into like the bloodstream, and it would probably start out at the skin, because that's the first. It gets through the skin, and then as it gets harder, you'll go through, and because the deadly pathogens would obviously be the harder ones, and they're going to be the ones that get through the skins and everything. So yeah, it would progress throughout. Yes. I'm James.
I'm Jack.
Andrew Ryan.
So like when you already like
Andrew
have
Ryan?
your game and
R-Y-A-N?
stuff in there, is it gonna be the characters of your infection, is it gonna be looking more like the ones in the books, or are you gonna make something where it's gonna look more interesting so that it doesn't look boring,
It'll probably
Or
look
maybe-
more cartoony. It'll look
Yeah.
more enjoyable to look at, because if it looks
Yes.
straight out of the book, then
Right,
people-
I would suggest that, because that's basically why they don't want to look at
Yeah.
the books, right? So make it more like a real game world.
But I mean, it's only based off their general design appearance. So you still have, there's some relation to it, but yeah, it would be a more cartoony style.
Sure.
yeah.
Are you going to add the things that we already do to help our immune system, such as antibiotics, if we're already sick, or
Yeah, it's hard to say. Those could be like special skills that you use in a tower defense game. For the basic concept, we haven't really dived into it too much, because we're gonna have to be original. It's a tower defense game, you can only do so much, but probably look at the basis of tower defense games and go from there and try to be more creative. So yeah, there might be stuff like that. It would be more like special skills you use throughout the tower defense game and such, yeah.
Have you explored other programs that is already in place now, like for medical, students? Are there games like that kind of similar to what you guys are planning? Or-
Yeah, I'd say, because in general, there are probably games out there that have a similar concept of how it defends, but I'm not too sure about tower defense wise because of the genre itself.
Sure.
Yeah, so that I'm not too sure. And anyway, if there is, we'll have to make sure to be original, and it will be different from the other ones.
That would be really interesting. It'll help us out a lot, the biological world. Any other questions? Dr. Nashif is being so nice. He doesn't want to ask you guys.
just what platform are you going to?
Platform, maybe mobile, because mobile is very easy for tower defense, but using Game Maker, it's probably going to be PC. It's going to be basic PC, just a very basic game, and if we learn more about code throughout the year, maybe we can transfer it to a more mobile device, but starting out with mobile will be kind of hard, and since Game Maker creates it on the PC, we'll keep it on the PC for now, so it'll stay computers.
Do you have any of you knowledge with the graphic design?
Graphics?
You mentioned you will create cartoons that.
Yeah, that's going to be the most difficult part for sure, because making graphics is not easy. It takes a long time, and learning how to make it's hard. But yeah, I have very little knowledge on graphics, but I'm definitely going to do a lot of research for it. That's for sure.
Well, there you go. Any other questions, guys?
Yes.
So, for your tower defense, are you gonna make the setup, like the actual map look like a cell?
It's going to look like the body as it goes throughout the body, and the cells will be like towers, like T cells, B cells that defend
And then
against.
do you advance, like, do you start from like the brain and then advance all the way down?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. We'll start with skin, and that will be the first map. And from there, you'll go to like mucus, blood, and it'll go throughout. but it'll be like different varieties of it because there's only so much that it can go through, you know. So it'll just be, yeah.
All right, we are out of time. Thank you so much.